He's everyone's favorite slug, which is perhaps not a giant sample set, but he's certainly my favorite slug.
Hey, Kash, thanks for having me this week. I always love the energy of these things, and there's really nothing I can think of that kind of exists quite like this format in Web3.
It's a pleasure to have you on, my friend. Your energy absolutely contributes to it as well. So, Slorg, as a member of the core working group, obviously you helped design the process around the voting. I know that the community would love to hear your take on how it went and where we go from here.
Yeah, so just to give a bit of a retrospective on the process, because as useful as it is to look forward to things, it's also useful to look back at what happens. Over 180,000 people participated in this, and of course some of those are duplicate wallets just because some people partially voted for more than one candidate. But overall, there really was no strong incentive to Sybil anything. And the reason for that is because you get the same rewards no matter who you vote for. So really splitting up your vote to vote for two, that was just a matter of preference. And I don't think too many people did it. Most people voted for one. The rewards, they're only based on voting power. And this is a very common question that we've been getting. And I can't give a dollar amount to how much you'd receive exactly, but I can say that it is linear. So if you have 1,000 J.U.P and you voted with that 1,000 J.U.P, you'll get twice the rewards of someone who voted with 500 or half of those rewards of someone who voted with 2,000 J.U.P. All 6 of the projects that were voted upon benefited substantially, not just in terms of exposure, but also in terms of refining their messaging. And just to give you some stats and examples, Uprock gained a few 100,000 new users to their platform in the weeks after being introduced. Both Sharky and Zeus gained more than 30,000 Twitter followers each in the last 30 days. Every project benefited from the refining of their messaging due to the thorough AMAs, both the ones you gave and the ones Chemo and I gave. And even more intimately, certain projects were able to troubleshoot some pain points. I've had some sidebar conversations with a couple of them where I was able to give them crucial feedback based on some of the answers in their AMAs. So overall, this was a tremendous benefit for all 6 of them, not just the 2 that got voted to launch. Tomorrow, we're going to start resuming the process with new introductions at the core working group town hall. Tomorrow, you can check the events tab in the Discord to see what local time that is for you. I think there's about 650 signups for that so far. And just before we dive into that, I wanted to give a recap of the core process, just for any projects that might be interested in applying for this next round. So initially, the project makes a post on the J.U.P research forum, and there's a rough template. It asks a few questions about your vision and about logistics and things like that. Then there's a subset of those that are selected by the core working group to be introduced to the community via the Discord forum. And this is based on criteria like community sentiment, TGE date. There was a couple contenders who we would have chosen last time, but their TGE date wasn't anytime soon. Legitimate forum activity. And what I mean by legitimate is not just people saying good project, great project, but actual real participation in the forum process. And of course, vision. What's your vision for this, for your product or platform? After that, candidates are given multiple AMAs, one by you, one by me and Chemo, and other opportunities to explore their product or platform and vision for the future with the Jupiter DAO. 24 hours beforehand, all the information is compiled together along with a tokenomics breakdown, and the DAO selects their preferred candidate. Of those 6, I think it can host up to 10, if I remember correctly. 2 of those are selected. So although I would say that the first process was a massive success across multiple metrics, from things like project satisfaction to community participation, there's still a couple things that we need to figure out. And I'll just give you a couple examples of these. How do we handle the ones that didn't launch? So of course, we all know Zeus and Sharky, they were voted upon by the DAO, but what about the 4 that didn't? Do any of those get to the next round automatically? Do they have to start over again? What happens in the case that there aren't 6 viable candidates like there were this time? What if there's only a couple viable candidates? Do we still have the round? Do we kick it to the next month? How do we reintroduce these candidates that already went through the process? So like Sourceful and Uprock, if we were to reintroduce them again, do we have to give them a full thorough AMA again? Do we let them briefly readdress the audience? Because we want to make things fair for them and make sure they get adequate exposure as well. And finally, and this is what we're going to flesh out tomorrow, were there any parts that the DAO didn't like or felt that could be improved? And I know there's a couple people in the Cats of Culture chat and a couple people in the Cat Debts chat who felt like maybe there were a couple things that could be improved. So we're going to hear them out tomorrow at the working group town hall.
Excellent. Cool. Folks, I think that the entire J.U.P community is very lucky to have Slorg of the Slugs, one of my favorite Twitter follows. Go check out Soul Incinerator. Go check out Lighthouse Protocol. Go check out Radiance DAO. And the only way that the LFG Launchpad continues to get better is with that community input.